Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3684 AM. Today's date is July 10th, 2025, and the title of the episode is Coal, Rare Earth Minerals, U.S. Taking Back Control. The central bank system is being reversed. Let me ask you a question. Are you looking to shed some pounds for this summer? Well, a recent study found nearly half of patients following popular weight loss trends quit within a year, often used lower than prescribed doses and ultimately lost less weight than they were led to believe. This is why I use this secret amazing new product, and I'm obsessed with the results. It is designed to naturally support my body's own GLP-1 production and boost levels by over 50% without drugs, prescriptions, or needles. It promotes the feeling of fullness, reduced cravings, reduced my hunger hormones, helps me lose fat instead of muscle, and supports healthy blood sugar levels. Summer is here. It's time to get that beach body ready. Grab yourself a bottle of GLP-1 now to save up to 44% only at trimwithx22.com. Plus, you also get 2 free ebooks titled The 3-Week Diet and 53 Fat-Burning Smoothies and Milkshakes. Once again, this offer is only available at trimwithx22.com. That is trimwithx22.com, or just click the link in the description. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private West Central Bank, the World Economic Forum, what they are now witnessing is that Trump is now taking the hammer to their system and basically reversing everything that they have done over many, many years. I mean, if this, we got to go all the way back to 1913. That's when it all began, but it came into full force in 1971 when we came off the gold standard. And now Trump is basically reversing the entire central bank globalist system, and there's nothing they can do to stop this. Now, they know this, and I do believe in the end they will try probably some type of an event if they have the ability to do it. But you could see that the way Trump is doing this and the way he's approaching reversing everything the central bank has done, he didn't go directly at them. He didn't go directly to do an audit. He didn't go directly to say we're coming off the Federal Reserve note, because I do believe he knows that that would destroy the economy and it would hurt the people of this country. If you look at the central bankers, what they did when they came into existence, they didn't care if people lost their wealth. They didn't care if the economy went into a recession, because their goal was not to keep the economy running. Their goal was control. Their goal was to make money off of the people of this country. Trump, he's taking a very different approach, and he's doing it very slowly, very methodically. And he's weaving in and out of the central bank system to make sure that the whole system doesn't come crashing down while he builds the parallel system. And that's what we see today. And if you notice, now he is implementing his tariff policy like he said he was going to do. And think about it. When he first started, he said, okay, I'll give a little bit of an extension. Those countries that want to make a deal, let's see how the tariffs affect the country. He implemented reciprocal tariffs. They weren't at a very high percentage. He waited for certain countries to make a deal. And when everyone realized that, hey, the tariffs really don't affect the country the way the Fed is saying, the way the economists are saying, the way the deep state, the Ds are saying, he was then able to implement more tariffs. And people are starting to realize that all these tariffs, they're just benefiting this country and the people of this country. And everything, the Fed, the economists, the Ds, everything that they said is not turning out to be true. And Trump, he unleashed more tariffs on many more nations. Brazil, 50%. Now, you have to remember why he hit Brazil so hard, because he did put out a post that said, leave Bolsonaro alone. And basically, he gave 2 warnings to Brazil. And it looks like Brazil is the winner of the highest tariff, and that is 50%. Cambodia, 36%. Thailand, 36%, Bangladesh, 35%, Serbia, 35%, Indonesia, 32%, Bosnia, 30%, Iraq, 30%, Libya, 30%, Algeria, 30%, Tunisia, 30%, Japan, 25%, South Korea, 25%, and it goes on and on and on. And these tariffs are all going to go live on August 1st. And what people are going to see is that, just like before, the tariffs don't make all the prices go up, because the manufacturers understand and they know that to be competitive in this country, plus they have a very big profit margin, because you have to remember the tariff is done on the first sale to the wholesaler. It's not done at the final destination. So that is a very, very big difference. And yes, they're still making a profit. Are they making a very big profit? Yes, they still are. And they're taking the hit because they know that if they start to raise everything, this goes against the reasons why they moved to these countries. Because think about it. The reason why they moved to the manufacturers to all these different countries was because if they kept the manufacturing here in this country, what would happen? Well, as the value of the currency declines, people would see that, wow, this stuff is very, very expensive. And people wouldn't be able to afford this or any of these products. They wouldn't be able to afford their lives. And they don't want people to see this. That's really why they're not doing it, because they don't want people to understand that the only reason they're in these countries is because they can't really manufacture in this country because it'd be way too expensive. And I don't think the central bank wants the people to see this or understand this, because if they started to raise their prices and the same manufacturer started to produce here and Trump started to remove the taxes, give the buying power back to the people, people would see that the items are cheaper in this country. And this goes completely against what the central bank actually wants, because they know their system breaks down over time. And if people see that, wait, the system that Trump is building is working, it's giving our buying power back, the products are not expensive when you produce them here, but they are expensive when you produce them other places, people are going to call into question the entire central bank system. And the central bankers, they believe that they will succeed in stopping Trump, but I don't believe they have that ability at this point in time. I think he's dismantling piece by piece by piece, and before all said and done, they will not be able to stop it because people will see it. See, once you have the public seeing it, feeling it, understanding it, it's game over for the central bank system. And this is the part where they can't allow people to get that far, because if they get that far where they actually see it, then they're screwed. They're done with. And this is why probably right before that point, they'll try something if they can. Now, Brazil, they decided to hit back at Trump, and they have now threatened a 50% levy. It seems like all the other countries have done the same exact thing, where they said, oh, yeah, you think you're going to do this to us? Wait till you see what we're going to do. And then they realize, holy crap, we're completely and utterly dependent on the United States. If we do this, we screw our country, just like Canada's realizing, just like Europe is realizing. All these countries that talked big in the very, very beginning, they realized that if they made the move that they've been talking about, it's over. It's over for them. They're done. Remember, the way the globalist system was designed was we were passing the money from here in this country to these other countries, so these other countries could actually operate their socialist systems. Let's talk about protecting our wealth. You probably think your 401k is safe, that it's growing, that'll be enough for your retirement. But what if it's not? Here's the truth. Your 401k was never designed to make you wealthy. It was created in a corporate boardroom to shift retirement costs and investment risks onto you. Designed to keep your money trapped, exposed to Wall Street crashes, inflation, uncertainty you can't control. Until now, Americans are taking back control by turning to real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands protect their future by converting part of their retirement savings into physical gold. Talk to Noble Gold today and learn how safe and easy it is to roll over your 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. Visit x22gold.com to get your free wealth protection kit, including a step-by-step guide to get started. That's x22gold.com. It's time to get your money out of the danger zone and into something real. And here's a bonus offer. Get rewarded for getting started. Open a qualified account at x22gold.com and they'll send you 2 5-ounce Silver America the Beautiful coins free. That is x22gold.com, or click the link in the description. And remember, there's always a risk of investment and there's no guarantee of any kind. Once that money is cut off, once they try to go against the U.S., they're screwed, because if they raise tariffs, Trump raised tariffs, who does it really hurt? It hurts the other country. And they know this. They figure it out very, very quickly. F around, find out. And just like we said yesterday, Trump, he's now placing a 50% tariff on copper. And it looks like the U.S. now is going to be taking back control over the production and smelting of copper, the mining of rare earth minerals, the production of coal. We're taking back the control. We will not be dependent on any other country. We're also taking back the control over oil, which means we're going to be an energy powerhouse in this country. But in regards to copper, Trump, he put this out on Truth. He said, I'm announcing a 50% tariff on copper effective August 1st, 2025. After receiving a robust national security assessment, copper is necessary for semiconductors, aircraft, ships, ammunition, data centers, lithium-ion batteries, radar systems, missile defense systems, and even hypersonic weapons, of which we are building many. Copper is the second most used material by the Department of Defense. Why did our foolish and sleepy leaders decimate this important industry? This 50% tariff will reverse the Biden administration's thoughtless behavior and stupidity. America will once again build a dominant copper industry. This is, after all, our golden age. And you have to think to yourself, why were they doing this? Because in the end, the plan of the deep state, the central bankers, their plan was to basically destroy this country, have this country lose in a war. And if you remove all of this from the country, and we're dependent on other countries, well, this country's screwed. And now Trump is bringing it all back. And you can see he's doing it with coal. He's doing it with rare earth minerals. Trump, he put this out and he said, POTUS rightfully declared an energy emergency and Interior is responding. Today, Interior strengthened American energy independence by giving the green light to Hurricane Creek Mining to mine coal, a project that is expected to produce up to 1.8 million tons of coal over the next decade. Now think about it. When we sell our energy, it's not just oil. It's going to be coal. We're going to have rare earth minerals, which probably will sell across the globe. We'll be selling technology, AI. We will also be selling the gold card. With the tariffs, this country is going to bring in so much money that it's going to make people's heads spin. And this is what's going to destroy the deep state players in the end, because Trump, he's building a competitive economic system that's going to go up against the Federal Reserve. And people are going to decide which is better. Is it the Federal Reserve System or is it the new parallel system? I do believe that people are going to see that, listen, I don't pay taxes on the parallel system. We have tons of money coming in via the parallel system. Fuel prices are very, very cheap under the parallel system. Coal is very, very cheap under the parallel system. And there are a lot more jobs under the parallel system that Trump is creating. The manufacturers have moved back to this country. So I think in the end, the people are going to say, you know something? We feel like it's a lot better with Trump's economy compared to the Federal Reserve. Because the Federal Reserve, if I try to purchase something, let's say I need $100. With the parallel system, well, then I don't need as much because I got my buying power back. And I do believe people are going to make the decision to stick with the parallel system. And I do believe Trump is counting on this. And this is why he's bringing all of this back to this country. And Trump, he decided, okay, we need to compete with China. He signed the deal with Ukraine for the rare earth minerals. He's trying to make a deal with Greenland for the rare earth minerals. And now he's bringing the mining for rare earth minerals back to this country. The Trump administration is deepening its effort to sever U.S. reliance on China's rare earth supplies, committing $400 million in equity financing to MP Materials Corp. as part of a broader plan to expand domestic production of rare earth magnets used in advanced weapons systems and industrial technologies. The Department of Defense will acquire a newly issued class of preferred stock in MP Materials, convertible into common shares, along with warrants to purchase additional equity. Following the transaction, which is expected to close Friday, the Pentagon will become the company's largest shareholder with a potential stake of about 15%. The deal also includes a 10-year commitment by the U.S. government to support pricing and demand for domestic produced rare earth magnets. The Defense Department has guaranteed the purchase of 100% of the output from a planned magnet manufacturer facility dubbed the 10X plant. And the U.S. basically imported roughly around 70% of its rare earth minerals from China in 2023. And now Trump is shifting the production to this country. And I do believe we're going to see this with many, many other manufacturers, many, many other rare earth firms, many, many other coal production facilities. And I do believe in the future, what Trump is going to do is, you already started, he's going to make the permit time so short that most of these companies will probably have to wait about 30, 40 days max. And we're going to see that this is going to take off, and it's going to allow this country to become energy dominant, which means that energy is going to be very, very inexpensive here, which means production of materials, manufacturing of items, shipping, flights, you name it, is going to become very, very cheaper, which is going to counter all the inflation that we've seen from the central bank system. Now, we don't get rid of the cumulative inflation, but basically we might even go into negative territory where people are saying, listen, there's nothing, we're not feeling inflation except where we are today from the cumulative inflation. But eventually when Trump pays off, I do believe he'll pay off the Fed, or there might be an audit of the Fed, and we might show that we don't have all this debt, so he doesn't have to pay off that much. But once they're paid off, I do believe we're going to see the full buying power come back to the U.S. And it won't be because of the Federal Reserve. No, it'll be because of the U.S. dollar, the currency that we're using in this country. And I do believe we will have a dual system of gold and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, because you could see that Trump is using stable coins to actually back the dollar to go up against the Federal Reserve. Remember, they kind of masked the U.S. dollar. If you look at your bills, it says Federal Reserve note on top, because actually we are borrowing the currency from the Federal Reserve. And I do believe Trump is going to separate this. Remember, before we had the U.S. dollar, and yes, the Federal Reserve issued it, but then slowly, as time went on, they replaced the U.S. dollar with the Federal Reserve note on top. Trump is going to reverse this, and we're going to go back to sound money, and we're going to go back to the U.S. dollar. And I do believe we're going to have Bitcoin. We're going to be backed by gold. And this is how we are going to establish the new parallel system. And Trump, he needs the Fed chair to lower the rates. And you can see the Fed chair does not want to lower the rates. And again, this has nothing to do with inflation. We know how inflation is created. But Trump keeps using the argument, listen, if you see inflation, then raise the rates. But again, we know the Fed, they're political. They're doing it on purpose. Because if they lowered the rates, what would people see? They would see an economic boom. And Trump knows it. The Fed knows it. They just don't want the people to see it. Trump, he put this out on Truth. He said the following: too late demeans the great credit of the USA. We are now again the number one credit in the world. Gigantic comeback. The Fed rate should be reflective of this. We should be at the top of the list. Lower the rate. And I do believe Fed Chair Powell is going to try to hang on as long as possible by keeping the rates steady. But the window is going to close very, very quickly. And people then in this country are going to say, why aren't you lowering the rates? This doesn't make any sense, especially when we approach September, October. If they haven't done it by then, people are going to really scream and yell, going, what is going on here? Economists might even start to scream and yell, what is going on here? And Trump is going to show that this was a political move from the very, very beginning, because we're not going to see the inflation. So I do believe that the Fed is waiting for some type of an event. And this is why they're trying to keep this holding pattern right now, because they're waiting for something to cause the inflation. Now, they thought they had it with Moody's. They thought they had it with the war. They thought they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz. They thought oil prices were going to go up, which was going to cause inflation to go up. They were just hoping something would happen, so this way they could make their case. Now, they're running out of ammunition to make their case, which I do believe this is why they're waiting for some type of an event. Now, again, does the deep state, the central bankers, have the resources to create an event? We'll have to see. But I do believe Trump and the Patriots, they're prepared and ready to go after them. And I don't think it's going to work out the way they think it's going to work out. I think he's going to use it against them. And I do believe once this all occurs, I do believe this is the end of the Federal Reserve. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.